Hey guys, welcome back for another video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel down below. Welcome to qualifying, guys, for the Australian Grand Prix. As we are getting ready to go out for our first flying lap, we're gonna quickly go ahead here and set up the car. Probably run a 5.4 wing setup right here and adjust the suspension and the brake bias a little bit. Get the front tire pressure lowered down a little bit, 22.6 psi. Yep, and then here we go on our first flying lap of the Australian Grand Prix. As you guys can see here, I got the racing line turned on here just in the corners. Still pretty new to the game and try my hand at it, but getting better. But the car feels a little bit understeery as we go along here, and as you guys can see, it's not going to be the most fastest lap. We come through the final corner here and we go down the straight, and our time is gonna be an abysmal 1:25.3. Well, seems like we are ahead of, well, one racing point and Williams and Haas for now. But as we go on our second flying lap, you can see we're already 3/10 up on our previous lap time. We're improving here. I don't know if it's going to be enough to get us into Q2, but let's see. As we come through the final corner here and down the main straight, you guys saw me make a mistake there in that final corner. Lost a bit of time there, but we still end up with a decent enough lap time, which would place us right now at P15, and if things stand, we will make it to Q2. So I'm gonna accelerate time here, but unfortunately we did not make it out of Q2. We are in P18, but we did out qualify a Haas, both Williams and our teammate. It's more good news for us, at least. Our teammate did not come last, so both Little Bacon Racing cars are not stone cold last. Go up, you can see the McLarens, the Renaults, the AlphaTauri, and the Mercedes locking up a 1-2 yet again. Mercedes dominance is something that even the F1 2020 game cannot avoid.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to Melbourne for the opening race of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to the Australian Grand Prix. Just south of Melbourne's downtown business centre is the one and only Albert Park circuit. 3.3 miles of public roads, closed for the weekend of course, make for a bumpy circuit with little undulation. There are 16 corners around the lake and a couple of good passing opportunities here as well, thanks in part to the DRS zones into turns 1, 3 and 13. Can Mercedes start with victory in their bid to win a 7th consecutive Constructors' title? Could Ferrari or Red Bull establish an advantage early on? And with 22 cars on the grid, how quickly can the new team find their footing? Well, it's great to be back, Anthony Davidson. We've got a lot to talk about this year.
That's right, Crofty. It felt like a long winter, but it's good to finally be back. I have to think the usual suspects will battle it out at the front, but there are always going to be some teething problems early on in the season, so whoever can keep on top of their issues will have the advantage today.
As I mentioned earlier, we're up to 11 teams this season, with a new entry run by, well, of all things, an owner-driver. That's something we haven't seen in this sport since Hector Raback over 4 decades ago. So how are they looking so far?
Ever since their participation was announced, there were questions being asked about whether an outfit like this could survive, and certainly it's proving to be a trial by fire so far. Let's hope they can continue to draw in investment and find a little more pace as well.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Vettel, Lando Norris, and Albon, Leclerc, Ricciardo, Sainz, and Daniel Kvyat, Ocon, Raikkonen, Lance Stroll, and Magnussen, Perez, Giovinazzi, Pierre Gasly, and Hudon, Grosjean, Russell, Latifi, and Antoine Hubert. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
And you guys can see that my teammate has taken a 10th place grid penalty, so he will be starting from the very last spot at P22. Lights out and away we go. We get a very good start here down the main straight, cutting through a few cars there. We are up into P11 right now as we come to the first corner. Raikkonen sending a huge dive bomb down there, but we are up in P10 after that first corner. We're trailing Carlos Sainz and Ricciardo, and we send one down ourselves, and we try to get a move done on Carlos Sainz, and we do get a move done on Carlos Sainz. We are now in P9. We started from P18 and we are down in P9. This is an amazing race start. Wow, just lost for words. We could actually get some points here today on our very first race, possibly with the worst car on the grid. But let's see, we have an entire race ahead of us, 28 more laps to go, and let's see how we do in this race. But very good start. As you guys can see here from another point of view, flying start for us, not so much for our teammate there down in P22, and look at that car just cut through the field. Wow. Okay, and we are back on board here on lap 2 as I come on the throttle way too quick there and just make a mistake there. That's inexcusable. That was just a mistake on my part, and we lose P9 and we are down to P10 right now. And we will try our best to catch up with Carlos Sainz here, but it looks like they are gonna pull away. They're already 8 tenths ahead of us right now. So our main focus right now would be to keep P10, do the best job we can and hold on to P10. And we see Raikkonen is already 1/10 of a second behind us as Lewis Hamilton sets the fastest lap of the race. Again, Mercedes dominance is something that even the game cannot avoid.
Second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
As we come on board again for lap number 6 here, you guys can see Carlos Sainz has pulled away significantly. That's just the gap to our cars here. And now as we go on to lap number 9, he's pulled away even more. He's pulled away, wow, by almost close to 6 seconds there. And we can see Esteban Ocon is right up our tail, just 2 tenths behind us there. And we fight and claw to keep this position here. We are in P9, by the way, but actually we are down in P10. That's going to be our true track position. Jesus, words are not coming out of my mouth right now. But we're going to stay on board here, and we're going to see how this all unfolds. We're just using a lot of overtake there, just to try to stay in front of the Renault car here. As you guys can see, it kind of worked there. Got a little bit of breathing room. 8 tenths behind us right now. Ocon is 8 tenths behind us. Carlos Sainz is in the pits right now, so and so are a lot of the front runners, looks like it. So we are gonna jump a whole lot of places here, but remember, we have not made our pit stop yet. But we are up in P5 at the moment, and Albon is ahead of us. Norris is ahead of us, and Albon is ahead of us. They are 6 seconds ahead of us. And as we jump on to lap number 10 here, we are still in P5 and have yet to make a pit stop. And so has Ocon. We have not pulled away from him as much as I'd hoped for. He's still right behind me, so if I make a mistake here, he's gonna jump us. So we are gonna come into the pits in another 2 laps, I guess, but right now we are just trying to build a little bit of a gap and keep going on these softs as they feel alright. They feel decent enough where I do feel some understeer from the softs, but not a whole lot to where there's a big tank slapper going on. But just as I say that, there we go, there's one. You guys can see the tire wear is kicking in now. It's almost time for our pit stop, but we are gonna continue on for just a little bit longer here. And we can see that there are 4 more cars in the pits. Does that mean we are in P1, ladies and gentlemen. We are in P1 of the race. In our very first race, we are in P1. I know it's not a legit P1. We are yet to pit yet, and we will fall back by quite a bit here. But we are still in P1, and that's very exciting. And we're going to come into the pits here on lap number 11. We are going to go on to the hard compound tire. Think it's going to be our only stop of the race. And as you guys can see, the safety car has just been deployed. Lando Norris is out of the race. What? I cannot believe our luck here. This is just great timing as we come out of the pits and Sainz has jumped us during our pit stop. We are down in P11 yet again, but let's see. Oh, nope, I made a mistake, guys. It is not Lando Norris who's out of the race. It's Lewis Hamilton. What a shame for the Mercs. Wow. Okay, and then we jump on to lap number 13 here. And the safety car is still out, and I am still right behind, well, closing in on Carlos Sainz here. So we need to catch the safety car queue. We need to keep a level head here and try to get a good restart. I know. Oh no, what have I done? What have I done? Oh no.
Come on! Stupid.
As you guys probably heard there, very frustrated. That was that was a mistake that we could not afford to make. We got a 5-second time penalty for it, and wow, that basically puts us out of the points. And oh my god, race that has been going so well for us, we've been met with a bit of a disaster here. We go on to lap 14, we are in P10. But you guys do know that we have a 5-second time penalty, and wow, I'm just trying to drive this car as fast as I can, try to get a bit of a gap built here, but to be honest guys, I'm not doing a great job at it, and this is just not going well for us. I'm very, very frustrated here that it was a mistake that we could not afford to make, and we were in the points. We were straight up in the points, and as you guys can see, I'm just making mistakes left and right here, as I couldn't get the car stopped in time and let Ocon by, and now I have Perez all over the back of me, and I clipped the wall. But we do not have any damage there, so good news. For now, let's see how much longer we can hold on here, down in P11. Wow, that is very frustrating. I just need to focus on the race here. But as you guys can see, getting a bit wobbly over there, trying to catch up to Ocon, and we do here just a little bit, but he is gonna get a better exit than us, and yet another mistake, and oh no, more contact now with Danny Kvyat. How ironic is that? Collision with the torpedo himself, and we have a damaged front wing, and I think we've put someone out of this race. Wow. You guys can see the VSC is deployed. How did we not get a time penalty or any kind of penalty for that? P12, and more penalties are, well, not more penalties, but we already have a 5-second time penalty, just more bad luck and more bad driving from my end. But let's see how we do here. Try to get a decent finish at least. I know I'm not going to end up in the points here. P11. You can see that Gasly is 3 seconds ahead of us, almost 4 seconds now. We have a huge train building behind us. This race is not going good, guys. But well, I'm at a loss for words here. I know it is my first race on F1 2020 and using a wheel, but this is kind of disappointing, as we were in the points and we just made a couple of errors, and now we're down in P11 with a damaged front wing, and you guys can see it's kind of affecting me quite a bit. The only reason that I've been able to pull ahead of Giovinazzi and the others chasing me right now is they're on a battle of their own, but as you guys can see through these turns, they are catching up to me. I'm losing downforce here quite a bit because of, well, the damaged front wing, and now these tires are starting to wear off just a little bit, and now it is just about me getting this car to the end of the race. We have a yellow flag. Oh, some collision back there. I think it's one of the racing points or a Haas. Can't really tell from the minimap, but oh, Romain Grosjean is out of the race, and another safety car is deployed. That is the third safety car, and we're going to use that to come into the pits here and, well, serve our time penalty and repair our damaged front wing and get on a set of softs and see, well, basically if we can chase Magnussen and Ricciardo and Raikkonen down and make up some positions here. So you guys can see the worst pit stop of all time here. 13.6 seconds in the pit and a combined 32 seconds in the pit lane. But the safety car is out, and we did manage to catch Magnussen and the rest of the pack as they are having a duel of their own, with Ricciardo and Raikkonen jostling for position and Magnussen following them closely behind. As you guys can see, we are not stone dead last here just because of the retirements here, being Grosjean, Norris, and Lewis Hamilton. We are actually down in P20 right now. So, still hope for us. Still hope that we can come in with a decent finish here, and not down in P20 as we send one down, and oh my god, I cannot get the car to stop. And we go on to the gravel, bring out the yellow flag, and we continue our miserable race. As you guys can see, down in lap 24, I've got a purple sector in sector 1, but it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be a fastest lap of the race, because come on, we do have the slowest car on the grid per se, and then we are catching up to the train of Magnussen, Raikkonen, Ricciardo, and Stroll just ahead. So down to lap 29, the final lap of the race, and we cross the line, and it is a miserable P20 for us. Not the best of races. Yes, we did have an amazing start to the race, but some driver mistakes were made, and I'm sorry guys, we could not come home with points today. But positives, I guess, to take home from that we were up in points for most of the race, and we could have come home with some decent points there.
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. Now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Valtteri Bottas passes his rival to take over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
That's got to be the Flying Finn. Wait, how many Flying Fins have we had now? Anyway, I'm talking about Bottas this time. Just great raw speed, and a good job in traffic as well. I know that's at odds with the official decision, but I think they deserve some recognition on a day where both of these drivers are at the top of their game.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes move to the top of the table. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Yeah, with 0 points there, but we're just ahead of Haas because we finished just ahead of them because track position there, and we go on to the interview here. Well, just gotta be honest here. I made a few mistakes, and they were the more consistent driver. So, yep, that affects my claim, but gotta be honest. It wasn't the cleanest of races. Yep, it wasn't. None of us want to be that person, but things happen when you're racing, I guess. But there were mistakes made on my part. Yep, and I did hit the wall a couple times, and I'm just gonna answer. I'm not sure what happened there, to be honest. I can't blame the car. They were down to driver errors made by me, and I will take the blame here, even if it affects my driver acclaim negatively. But we are done with the Australian GP weekend. It's not been the greatest of weekends, and it's not been the greatest of races for us as a team, but our team acclaim levels did jump to level 2. And thank you guys so much for joining in today. I'm sorry that I made so much mistakes, but like I said, I just started on this journey, and to those who have been joining me and actually taking the time out of their day to come and watch these videos, you have my utmost gratitude and thanks. And thank you guys, and I will see you again next weekend for the Bahrain Grand Prix. And if you like my content and this video, subscribe to the channel down below.